video. So in this live streaming video, we're also getting into the preview for Everton versus Chelsea. We go to Everton where they're at a brand new, stanky, beautiful stadium, man. Hill Dickinson Stadium, I believe. And it's a pretty nice stadium. It's something that Chelsea should look to move into if they really want to be taken serious. They need a new stadium. That's one thing that I think has been on the cards for a very long time. This ownership, for some reason, still hasn't got a plan to get them either moved from Stamford Bridge or redeveloping Stamford Bridge to where they can fit more people into the stadium. But with the way that Chelsea is playing, you're not going to get any butts in those seats and fill out Stamford Bridge the way that it should and as loud as it should. Because we all remember when Stamford Bridge was one of the hardest grounds to go to. Chelsea hold the record for having the longest home unbeaten streak in European history, 81 games. There is no team in modern history that is ever going to win 81 or have 81 games unbeaten at home. There's no shot. Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp side, like the Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool side, rather, I think was the closest team that came close to it. But you're never going to see a team concede 15 goals in a season. You're never going to see a team concede less than that. And then you're never going to see a team have 81 games unbeaten at home. So it's a mission to turn Stamford Bridge back into a fortress because we suck at home and we're better off just going on the road and actually trying to get points. But even then, we're hot and cold. But getting into this preview, bro, for Everton versus Chelsea. I mean, Everton right now, if we take a look at the table, um, I actually need to do something real quick. Where are you? All right. Need to do something real quick. Alrighty. So we pop over to the Premier League. We look at this Premier League tail, man. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Chelsea are in a world of trouble if they drop points here, right? So we obviously know Arsenal are on top. I'm actually talking to my friend right now about the League Cup final. Arsenal versus Man City this weekend, man. I mean, I think Arsenal will beat Man City. They're actually in a pretty good run of form. Even if you look at the form table, they've won 4 on the bounce in the league. They're looking to get their first piece of silverware in about 5.5 years. So I do think Arsenal will get the League Cup. I think they will beat Man City. Man City's coming off a wayward Champions League tie against Real Madrid where they lost home and away. And this is without Mbappe in the lineup also. So Real Madrid seem like they're on a mission to try to prove everyone wrong that they can win this season's Champions League with the lack of discipline in that squad as well and the injuries they have in that squad as well. And when we get into the England team and what the England call-ups are, I'm American, but I am paying close attention to England because a lot of the Chelsea boys will be featured in there. So for me, I'm just really trying to see is Cole Palmer going to really be the guy that's the number 10 for England. Thomas Tuchel does speak on it, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Getting back to Everton versus Chelsea. So Chelsea right now on 48 points, 1 point behind Liverpool, 2 points behind Aston Villa. So a win for us would put us above Aston Villa. If Aston Villa, who go to West Ham, and West Ham are looking to get out of the relegation zone. They're in a scrap with Forest, Leeds, and Spurs at the moment. So that's not going to be an easy game for Aston Villa to try to go get all 3 points. And so with Everton only being 5 points behind us, we cannot afford to drop points. We just can't. Now, we don't really go to Everton and win, but this was at their old stadium. Can we start rewriting history at their new stadium where we go there and we generally just don't lose there, right? But the way that this Chelsea team is playing, man, it's a tough ask to get 3 points right now. Like, where are the 3 points coming from in this run of games? I don't think it's coming anytime soon. And you have the international break coming up too, right? So you got about 2.5 weeks if you don't pick up 3 points to sit on this result. And the first game back in the international break after that is Man City at the bridge. Who's after that? Manchester United at the bridge. You see why picking up 3 points is absolutely vital? You want to be within touching distance of Manchester United. Now, I'm not delusional. This team has no right to be in the top four because they're horrific right now. Liam Rosenior is not helping his cause with his outlandish comments, trying to change tactics when you're already down 8-2 in the tie. I mean, you can't be doing stuff like that, bro. You need to figure it out while you're tied 2-2 and why you're deciding to play your backup goalkeeper in the first leg of a Champions League tie. Like, that's just something that I'll never understand, really, right? But this team, man, I mean, the past couple seasons they've been trying to turn it around at the end of the season, and they've lucked up by getting Champions League last season, and they got sixth in the season before that. But I don't see a run like that coming, especially with the fixtures at the end of the season. I just don't see where that run is coming from. Maybe they're fortunate, and because they're out of the Champions League, they find a way to get on a good run of games. Cole Palmer finds his form. Enzo Fernandez breaks the 15 goal barrier in the Premier League, which I'm going to get to Enzo Fernandez in a second because there's been a lot of shit that has come out about him over the past 72 hours or so since the game against PSG. Is he leaving? Is he staying? Supposedly, Chelsea want to offer him 400 grand a week, and it's like, if you're offering a player 400 grand a week, why didn't you just go get Victor Osimhen? Right? It's like, it's stuff like this where it's just like, now the board is just getting desperate because they're trying to get the fans back on side, and they think that if you pay a player like Enzo Fernandez 400 grand, you're gonna find a way to it. It's not gonna happen. 400 grand for Enzo is crazy, but would he be deserving of it? He's one of the only players in the team right now that's actually trying to put in a performance. Him and João Pedro, and when Reece James was fit, Reece James was there. Those were the only three players. And maybe you could sprinkle in a Moises Caicedo every now and then, sure. But he's dropped off since Liam Rosenior has been appointed as the coach, not the manager, the coach, right? But for Everton's sake, right? If you take a look at Everton and their running games, yeah, they've lost they've lost 3 out of 5, but they lost a heartbreaking game to Arsenal, where Arsenal had to get 2 goals after the 90th minute to get that game over the, the line, right? I mean, they're losing 2-1 to Bournemouth at home. That's not a good result, right? But they lose to Man United at home, where Manchester United are beating just about everybody in the Premier League right now. They're finding a way to get the 3 points, and that is what's separating us from Man United right now, is that the shackles are taken off there. At Chelsea, the shackles are on, the keys are thrown away, or they're freaking burned in oil, and you're never gonna see that key again. We play so restrictive, so hesitant, so scary at times that, yeah, we score goals, but a lot of the goals we score are scrappy, man. It's just scrappy goals, right? They beat Newcastle 3-2 away, which is a very good result. Not a lot of teams can go to Newcastle and just say, "We'll just outplay you in your home stadium," because Newcastle are tough to play at St. James Park. They beat Burnley at home, which teams should be beating Burnley. We can't beat Burnley at home for some reason, and then they lose to Arsenal on a very it was a very close game. I was talking to my friend about that, and he said that they scored 2 goals in the after the 90th minute. Max Dowman, or yeah, you got Gyökeres scoring in the 89th minute, and then Max Dowman became the youngest goal scorer in Premier League history, man. So, I mean, it looked like Everton gave them a very good game, right? Chelsea, on the other hand, or I mean, where do we begin with their form? right? I mean, I've already spoken on the PSG game. They got absolutely dismantled in both legs, right? The draw that's Leeds and Burnley, right? I mean, it's ridiculous, man. Like this form has just been outrageous, right? You got they draw against Leeds, they draw against Burnley, they lose to Arsenal, right? You could make an argument that Arsenal weren't even great that day, right? But teams like that, they find a way to get to 3 points. That's why they're at the top of the table right now. That's why we sit at sixth, right? We have 19 drop points from winning positions, bro. And we weren't even winning that game. But the point is, Leeds, we were winning. Burnley, we were winning, right? We go to Aston Villa, and that's the aberration in this run of form. We beat them 4-1, but Aston Villa are also on the slide right now, right? They're on the edge of not making the Champions League also, and that may be the only saving grace of us getting the Champions League is that Aston Villa's form just drops off significantly because they want to focus on the Europa League as well. So they have their priorities. I don't know why I said it like that, but their priorities are more on the Europa League right now, in my opinion. And then they lose to Newcastle at home 1-0. Or actually, no, Chelsea losing now to Newcastle 1-0 at home, right? So it's just not good form. It's not good. It's not good, man. So the lineup that I'm looking at, bro, I mean, with the players that we have, I expect Esteval to be back in this game. I expect him to start, to be honest with you. I I stopped watching the Chelsea versus PSG game, bro. Like I just stopped watching it at some point because it was just brutal to watch. So I expect Esteval back. I expect João Pedro to start. I'm expecting Pedro Neto on the left because Garnacho, for some reason, just seems like he just can't get a run of games going. I'd rather see Garnacho in this game than Pedro Neto, but that's just me. Cole Palmer in the 10. He needs to get it going. All this talk about he has his head turned to Manchester United and stuff. My man, just get your shit together, bro. Like if I'm being real, like get your shit together. You've been back now for 2 months. The groin injury, the thigh, the ankle. We should be looking past that now, man. You have the World Cup to think about, right? And then we're talking about the World Cup, right? Thomas Tuchel um, said this about the England number 10 position, right? And there is four players he has in mind for this position. And it's the four players that I continuously mention. Ebriche Eze is not in there, which is pretty surprising, but I think he's going to be more utilized as a winger, even though for this season, I think Marcus Rashford should be the starting left winger, but that's just me. So Thomas Tuchel says Palmer will be competing with Foden for the number 10 position in the friendly against Uruguay. That's going to be a good game, bro. That's going to be a good game. And Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers will compete with each other for the second match against Japan. So you got four players in mind for that position. If they're all fit and they're all ready to go, Palmer is probably Tommy T's number one choice at that position. I don't see a reason why anybody else would start over him. When Palmer is fit and he's ready and he's actually in form, he's better than all three of these players. Now, maybe the Jude Bellingham argument could be there because Jude Bellingham is more of a physical presence. But in terms of technicality, no, I need my number 10 to be very technical and very techy, very tricky. So, and I don't think Jude is a tricky player. I just think that he has an insanely high work rate. And I think that is what separates Palmer and Jude Bellingham is that if you want a number 10 that has a high work rate, then yeah, give me Jude Bellingham. But if I want my number 10 to be crafty, tricky, technical, and has the ability to really link up with these players. Jude Bellingham does link up pretty well with because he is playing at Madrid now with Mbappe, Vinny, Valverde, right? Rodrigo when he's healthy. But I just feel like Palmer has more of a built-in chemistry with certain players on the team already. That's just me. That's just how I see it. But um, getting back to my lineup here, I expect Palmer in the 10. I expect Enzo and Caicedo in that midfield. I do want to see a two-man midfield in this game, honestly. But if it is a three-man midfield, then you will probably see Enzo in the 10, Palmer out there on the right. And if Esteval doesn't start, then you'll see Pedro Neto on the left. But me personally, I would run a two-man midfield so you can get Esteval out there on the wing. That's the only way I see us winning this game is if he is able to be in the game and play the way that he plays. He's the one player that I think the club say he can do whatever he wants. Everyone else it needs to be restricted, which the shackles need to be taken off this team and just let them play the sport. Let them play what they see in front of them. Like all the tactics that these managers are trying to do now, man. I just feel like a lot of these players just don't care for it anymore. And that's why you see teams like Chelsea falling in the depths. Now, the ownership really is like the problem, but it's also the on-field play, like the tactically, we're just not good. We're not good in certain areas of the pitch. And that's what you expect. So when you spend 2 billion and you're able to put this on the field, yeah, I mean, you are where you are because the money that you spent and the quality that you brought in shows you where you should be in the Premier League. So I think the back line is pretty self-explanatory. People are going to be calling me crazy. I think Sarr should continue to start, in my opinion. I think Wesley Fofana, honestly, man, I just think he's in it for himself. I've never seen a guy take this sport so unseriously, man. When you're laughing for getting sent off, when you're laughing on the bench and your team is getting absolutely shredded, it's not a good look, man. It really just is not a good look. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. So I expect Robert Sanchez in goal. I want to keep seeing Sarr at center back. I know people don't want to hear that, but I'm not blaming a kid that had to go up against a top 3 or 5 left winger in the world, bro. Like, I'm not going to sit there and criticize. Where is your experienced center half in that situation? On the bench laughing. That's where it's just like, I don't feel like people really need to be criticizing Sarr too much on that because the tie was already over. What were people expecting out of that tie, honestly? Nothing. You should not have been going into that game expecting Chelsea to score 4 goals and then in advance. Tottenham put in a more of a fight than we did. Like a team that's fighting relegation that has been poor at home all season. They ended up winning the game on the night, I believe. But they got absolutely waxed in the first leg, just like Chelsea did. But Chelsea played well for 75 minutes in that game. We ended up conceding because our goalkeeper wanted to say, hey, you guys also were blue. Here you guys go. Like, that's what happened. I mean, it's the reality of this club, bro. We have a lot of players that should not be here, and we're fighting for a Champions League spot. When Chelsea, back when I was growing up, were perennially in the Champions League, no matter what. If they didn't win the league, they were in the top 4. They are winning some piece of silverware, whether it's the FA Cup or the League Cup. Do you win the Champions League in 2012? And see, that's the difference with this team. Now, we had real men back in those days. We had serious players up in that dressing room. We had Drogba, Lampard, Terry. We had real guys in there, Petr Cech, right? Now we have jokers like Wesley Fofana, Tosin Adarabioyo, right? Liam Delap. Like, are we taking any of these players seriously? Now we do have some characters in there. We do have Cole Palmer. We do have Enzo Fernandez. We do have Reece James. We do have Caicedo. We do have João Pedro, right? We do have Esteval. We do have Levi Colwell. Those are characters. Those are players you want to have in your team. What the hell is everyone else doing? Get some experience around the players I just named. I guarantee Chelsea will be competing for a Premier League in the next 2 seasons. You have good young players of quality. Get some experienced heads right next to that. Why did Chelsea win the Champions League in 2021? If you remember, it was 2 years prior or the year prior, they got absolutely destroyed by Bayern Munich, right? They got absolutely torn up by Bayern Munich. The following season, you go get an experienced center half. What's his name? Thiago Silva. What happens that same season? Frank Lampard gets sacked. What do? You go get the guy that's on screen right now, right? And what does he do? Changes up the assistant, sees what players he has available, works with the players that he has, whether they're young or experienced. Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, a younger Reece James. But then you have experience in the squad, Olivier Giroud, N'Golo Kante, Mateo Kovacic, right? Edouard Mendy, Thiago Silva, Antonio Rudiger, Marcus Alonso, right? You have experience in that squad. So players that have won the Premier League, right? Blend that in. You go get a manager that just went to the Champions League final the year prior. What does he do with this squad with a mix of experience and young talent? You go and win the Champions League. While finishing that season, I think they finished fourth that season. The last game, I think, was Aston Villa away, and I think they drew that game. So can you imagine? And the ownership is saying they're like, oh yeah, well, the main goal here is to win. It's the main goal is to make sure that we have consistent revenue coming in by being in the top four. If trophies come along with it, great, right? Let me see if I can find it here because I had it pulled up. Well, actually, I'll share this piece first. So Egbali spoke, right? And this is what he said here. We're here to build a system, sign young players early, lock them into long contracts, move them around our network, sell at peak value. That is the model. If trophies come, great, but sustainability and profit come first, just like the Brighton model. Just like the Brighton model, bro. Just like the Brighton model. He wants to be Brighton so bad, but we're Brighton in the Premier League table right now, man. like he wants to be mediocre. He wants to be a mid-table team that's fighting to get into the top eight. That's not the ambition that Chelsea have. And this fan base knows it too. This fan base knows it. Right? And then we pull over here. We own bigger business than Chelsea that no one talks about because nobody cares. Nobody cares about the other shit that you own. We care about what's going on at this football club, bro. But football is different. We've sold over 500 million worth of players and cut over 100 million in wages. That's part of running club well. How is that running your club well? You've sold over 500 million worth of players because some of the players that you've brought in have been shit. That's it. And you cut over 100 million in wages. Yes, because you signed the players like Raheem Sterling, giving him 325 grand a week. Ben Chilwell was under the previous ownership. but he was making over 300 grand a week, right? So yeah, you've had to cut wages, but at the same time, some of your first signings under this ownership, you gave ridiculous wages to because you felt like that was the right thing to do. And that's where the ire is directed at Todd Bowley. But the difference with Todd Bowley and Egbali, at least Todd Bowley was showing some type of ambition. Now, he should still pack up his stuff and leave. We're not going to say anything that he should stay and try to fix things because he needs to grab his shit and go too. When you're as inactive as you are and you're focused on other ventures outside of the club, but your main focus should be Chelsea Football Club, bro. I understand you have shares with the LA Lakers and the LA Dodgers, who I despise deeply. And this is why I want them out of my club because there's ties to the LA Dodgers. And we all know if you pay attention to baseball, some of the sketchy sharing that the Dodgers have been having to go through over the past decade or so, right? For the life of me, I don't understand how you're able to pay Shohei Ohtani $4 million over 2 years, and now the rest of his contract is guaranteed after that. It's crazy. And you want to talk about how Chelsea are able to get these players on longer term deals and stuff like that. You pay it over time. You don't pay the entire transfer fee. And that's what happens in baseball too. But you know, nobody cares about the other business ventures that you guys have, bro. We care about Chelsea Football Club at the moment. Anything you're doing in other parts of the world, and especially here in the States, bro, I don't care about that. I care about what the hell you're doing destroying the club that I grew up loving, bro. Because I don't recognize my club anymore. That's what Drugba said. I don't recognize my club anymore, bro. I don't recognize them. Who are these imposters, bro? Who are these imposters on the pitch? And speaking of imposters, right? People want to really start talking, you know, down on Enzo Fernandez, bro. And I don't want to sound like a broken I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I saw this thing before I started the record button, right? And I want to share this with you guys. Now, I cannot play the audio because I will get copyrighted, but I'm gonna go ahead and share it with you guys. And like, so it speaking on Enzo, bro, and a lot of people are really attacking him personally, and it's like, why are we doing that? The club are in a bad run of form, but he's not the reason why the club are in a bad run of form. He's been one of our best performers in this run of form. Got who? Why did we score 2 goals in the Champions League tie? Who was the creator and the other goal scorer? That doesn't happen. We're probably getting shredded 8-0 over both ties, bro. I- I'm just saying. I mean, it's just crazy to me, dude. He has more decisive moments, has showed up in more big games than any other player in this club in the last 5 years. I mean, we can have that argument, bro. I mean, I might have to agree with you on that. You can lie on him, but you'll never rewrite history and what he's done for the club. And it's true. It's true, right? Like, that's probably one of my favorite goals, bro. This one right here against Tottenham away last season, bro. One of my favorite goals. This one right here, right? When that goal went in, I'm sitting on the bed I'm currently sitting on now, right? Stood up. And I remember John Champion said, it's such a Spursy thing to do at home, blowing a 2 goal lead, bro. And Chelsea are flying higher than ever. That was one of the greatest commentary lines I heard, bro. And like at that time, we were flying so high, winning games, right? That's what I'm saying, bro. Like people need to stop disrespecting this man, dude. You allow him to go to a different team, he's gonna look insane. Just build the right spine around him, bro. Like I don't understand why the hate for Enzo Fernandez is even there when there should be more criticism to Cole Palmer's performances this season because I don't see enough people talking about that, right? And I love Cole Palmer. That's my favorite player on the team, right? Enzo is second. But come on now, man. Like if we're gonna be honest with ourselves and we're gonna be serious with ourselves, anybody that has watched the sport this season will tell you that Enzo Fernandez has been better than Cole Palmer this season. Absolutely. And yes, he's been injured, but he's also been back now for about 2 months. And he's had a hat trick, sure. But the overall play of Palmer since he's been back has been shit. It's been horrible. So I'm trying to figure out where the criticism to Palmer is from the fan base, rather than criticizing Enzo Fernandez when he's actually shown up in. He showed up against PSG. He was one of the only players that showed up. He got the goal against Man City that got us a point. Helped turn the game around against West Ham. He scored so many important goals. He's had so many crucial moments, scored important goals for us. I just think the criticism of him is incredibly unfair. And you can see why his head is turned. Not because of the criticism, because of the poor play that we're displaying at the moment. Because I think he can take the criticism. He's a World Cup winner. That's going to come with criticism as well. Was he really an important piece of the Argentinian puzzle to win the World Cup? He absolutely was. Do we not remember the goal he scored against Mexico? And the way he ran the midfield as a he won the young player of the tournament now. It's not like he was just some scrub that was a part of a great team. He was the young player of the tournament. And that's when Todd Bowley was like, no, I need to go get him. And that is, in my opinion, probably the second best signing we've had under this ownership. The best one that we've had is Cole Palmer. Now he just needs to turn it around because right now he ain't looking great. But the Enzo Fernandez buy is the second best buy that we've had under this ownership. Moises Caicedo is number 3, in my opinion, because he's dropped off significantly since Liam Rosenior's come in, and really since the Arsenal game that he got sent off in, he's dropped off significantly. So that's just how I see it, man. I just think the criticism is ridiculous. And when a guy is sitting here as one of the creators of your team and he's actually playing pretty well in that moment as well, I just think fans are just so reactionary, man. So if we pull over here, if Aston Villa win the Europa League and finish 5th place, then sixth place will get Champions League football. It's just any way to get us into the Champions League, huh? So it's like I said, Aston Villa are going to probably look to prioritize the Europa League and finish 5th. I mean, I think we could still finish above Villa, but we got to win games. Are we going to win any games? I don't know. I mean, we suck right now, bro. We're conceding goals for fun. We just conceded 8 to PSG over 2 legs. We can't score at home versus Newcastle. We haven't scored at home in 2 straight games. Let that sink in for a second. We haven't won at home since we beat West Ham. You see why this team is cooked, man? Do you guys see why this team is cooked? It's horrific, man. We are looking at one of the worst performing sides I've seen in a very long time. And then I can even share this, bro. Like, this is how I know, oh, we're cooked. Getting olayed, bro, at your own stadium, right? And this is the reaction that he has to have because he knows. It's a training ground session, bro. They're getting torn up. You got Reece James in the background, like, man, like this shit is getting crazy, bro. It's a disgrace. But if we're gonna go ahead and predict the score for this game, man, Everton, Chelsea. Honestly, bro, I'm gonna just say it now. I think we lose this game. I think we lose. My head is telling me that we're gonna lose this, bro. And if we lose, 2-0 Everton. I don't think we score. But my heart, bro, like, whoa, what I want to happen, I want Chelsea to rock up in there and win 3-1. But is that going to happen now? So I think we are going to lose this, bro, 2-0. I don't see us doing anything in this game. I just think that PSG game completely deflated our season, bro. So I got Everton winning 2-0, which then puts us 2 points above them. That's what I'm saying. I think we're cooked, bro. I would love to see a win. I would absolutely love to see a win, but I just don't see where a win is coming right now. With the run of form that we're having, the Aston Villa game was just an aberration. And like, don't let us forget about Wrexham now. We struggled against them too and barely pulled it out. The 4-2 scoreline looked flattering on paper, but we were anything but a 4-2 winners on that day. So I'm looking at it like this. Everton win 2-0. We go into the international break as dark as it's been. And we have to get ready for Man City after the international break. And it's going to be a pretty long time before we get to that game. And it's going to be feeling very, 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 very down. But we'll we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, 2-0 Everton, that's how I'm seeing it. If we're going to take a look at the rest of these games, though, so actually today, Man United go to Bournemouth. I mean, I'm expecting Man United to pick up the 3 points there. Man United are on a great run of form, bro. And they may have an opportunity to catch Man City because they play in the League Cup. So, yeah, I got Man United beating Bournemouth. Liverpool just coming off that spectacular Champions League performance on Wednesday. Going up against Brighton, got Liverpool just squeaking out a victory there. Fulham, Burnley, I got Fulham in that. Everton, Chelsea, you know my prediction there. 2-0 Everton. Can't believe I'm saying that. Leeds United, Brentford. Leeds needs a point, but Brentford are pushing for Europe. I'm going to go 2-2 draw in that game. I think that game is going to be a very open game. Newcastle, ooh, the Tyne-Ware Derby. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'll tell you what, I think Sunderland go there and beat Newcastle, bro. That's going to be my pick of the weekend. I think Sunderland go to Newcastle and they pick up all 3 points. Villa hosting West Ham. I'll be real. Aston Villa are in such a bad way right now in the league. I think West Ham go there and they get 3 points. And this is the game of the weekend, in my opinion. Spurs versus Forest. The loser of this game, in my opinion, will actually no, the winner of this game will guarantee their survival. Because if we take a peek, bro, now Spurs picked up a very valuable point at Anfield, which nobody thought they were going to go to Anfield and go pick up points there, right? So you're on 30 points. Spurs are on 30. Um, Forest are on 29. West Ham are on 29. Burnley are on 20, and Wolves are on 17. Well, Wolves have picked up form recently too, so I don't think. Uh, okay, I'm gonna say this. Forest and Spurs. I don't know, dude. I want to go with the draw, but I feel like that result at Anfield, man, may have just turned their season around. But then again, like they're playing at home and they haven't been good at home all season. And Forest have gone to the Etihad recently and gotten a draw. And they're generally playing teams pretty tough. You know what? I'm gonna say Forest just nick it. I think Forest go to Spurs and they beat them. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. I think Spurs lose us at home to Forest. West Ham, that would put Spurs in the relegation zone. Oh man. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna rock with. I think West Ham go to Villa. I think they do something there. I think West Ham go to Villa and they beat them because Aston Villa are just in a bad run of form right now, man. And West Ham are starting to really figure it out. They only have one loss in five, so I might go with them on that. Yeah, man. I'm gonna go with Spurs in the relegation zone after this weekend, and reality will then set in that they're still in a world of trouble, even though they got a decent result at Anfield. They're still in a world of trouble. And I think it's going to continue to stay that way till the end of the season. So I got West Ham and Forest jumping Tottenham by the end of this weekend. Let me know if I'm crazy for saying that. Honestly, I don't think that's too crazy to say. All right, guys, I'm just replying to my girl. So yeah, man. I mean, that's how I'm seeing it. I think West Ham and Forest are going to jump Tottenham, and we'll see what happens there. Um, a couple other things I wanted to touch on before I get on out of here for the day because I got to go to work. I got to make my money. Not making money on here yet. That is the goal, though. So if you guys haven't, I'm gonna actually go ahead and share my YouTube as well. I just crossed actually 1.18 subs on YouTube, which is exceptional. Man, that's actually really nice. But I appreciate all the love and support, honestly. But yeah, if you haven't, my YouTube is right here. Go ahead, check out the videos, check out the shorts as well. I upload shorts pretty frequently, man. And I just want to get people's like thoughts and opinions on everything that I talk about because I feel like I do have a different perspective on things. And I just want to be able to share my opinions here, what people have to say. Um, Also, you guys can also follow me on Twitter right here at Silent Roses. I am gonna probably change that to my YouTube handle probably later today, honestly. So be on the lookout for that as well. Um, you know, a few things I do want to touch on before I get out of here. I need to go to over here real quick. Give me a second to find it. I had it. I might need to go to my homepage. Second. Not that. I can't seem to find it. I had something that I found on Twitter yesterday, but see, this is the kind of stuff that I was speaking on earlier, right? Imagine if we never brought Thiago Silva because he didn't fit the age structure. Ever, ch- ever chance Chelsea might have never won a second Champions League and a Club World Cup trophy. I mean, wasn't I saying that earlier on in the stream about how you can have young players in the squad, but if you get a blend of European experience or if you get a blend of experience in there, like look, where is the effort from our backline and shit like this? Our backline probably would have allowed that to go in. Thiago Silva said no, not happening, not happening. So I also saw this yesterday too. Enzo Fernandez has moved to calm transfer speculation by reaffirming his current commitment to Chelsea, though he stopped short of making any long-term promises. Speaking in a recent Q&A, the Argentine midfielder made it clear that his focus remains firmly on life at Stamford Bridge for now. Asked, would you go back to River Plate? You never know, but today my present is at Chelsea and I'm very comfortable. I mean, if I'm being honest, bro, that's what you're supposed to say when you're under contract. You're not gonna breach anything by saying, "Oh, I want to leave." I mean, if he wants to leave, he's going to make it known that he wants to leave, but he hasn't really shown the indication, especially with his play on the pitch, that he wants to leave. I think the problem is that you're sitting here playing so piss poor around the guy. Now, he's had bad games too. I'm not going to exclude him from having a bad game because he's had bad games in this run of games. But he's generally one of the better performers on the pitch in a team where everyone is just underperforming like crazy. Outside of João Pedro, even though he's didn't have the greatest two games against PSG, he's been he's our top goal scorer. You don't get there by accident. And generally our play has been so poor that he's had to create a lot of his goals. Right. So that's where it's like, for me, I think the Enzo Fernandez criticism does need to stop. But actually, yeah, that's what I was trying to find. So we heard that Morocco, right? And this shit is crazy, man. Like, I cannot believe they were handed the the Africa Cup of Nations trophy, bro. I cannot believe this. Like, so for me, right? I covered this, I think, a few days ago, but I do want to talk about this again because African football, bro, has just been absolutely tarnished, and they've had issues for the longest time. I mean, politically, economically, socially, it does not matter. The entire continent of Africa has been taken advantage of for as long as humans have been alive, bro. Like it, that's just what happened when the Europeans went there, and even until now, it just gets taken advantage of. But this doesn't help your cause, man. How is it 2 months later, right? And Senegal won the African Cup of Nations fair and square. They walked off the pitch because if you watch the game, and I didn't watch the entire game, right? I watched the highlights, and the highlights were like 30 minutes, bro. So I got to really see like some of the stuff that really went down. Some of the calls that Morocco got, bro, were absolutely crazy, right? If I'm on the pitch and I'm dealing with that, yes, I'm walking off the pitch, but this is what experience and what leaders do. Sadio Mane said, no, I understand what's going on out there, but no, we need to go back on the pitch and let's go win this shit, bro. Like, let's win in spite of the referee going against us. And what do? They go back on the pitch, they win it fair and square, right? Win it fair and square. How do you come to a decision 2 months later that they get stripped of the that they now get stripped of the title because they walked off the pitch and they were declared to have forfeited the match. Okay. So one thing I heard about yesterday was, what about 1976 when Guinea played them, when AFCON was 4 teams back then, right? I heard this piece yesterday and it blew my mind because I didn't even know this, right? You had 4 teams back then. I guess Morocco, they walked off the pitch in the 80th minute. I can actually pull this up without actually talking about it. Right. Guinea versus Morocco, right? Guinea versus Morocco was the decisive match of the group stage in the 1976 African Cup of Nations. Now, there were only 4 teams back then, right? The standings before the final match, bro. Morocco were on with a +2 goal differential, right? Guinea were on 3 with a +2 goal differential, right? So if you go down, so the match ended 1-1, right? Guinea up 1-0 up into the 80th minute when they walked off the pitch and they come back 15 minutes later. The score is 1-1. And because the score finished 1-1, right? Morocco finished top of the top on 5 +2 goal differential, right? They won by a point. So if Senegal is able to walk off the pitch and come back on and they take the lead and they score, but you guys were still handed the trophies back in 76, then give your trophy back to Guinea, and then Senegal will probably give the trophy to you guys. That's how it works. But I've also been of the proponent of, and I thought about this yesterday when I first saw this. Why not just make them replay it at a neutral site? You have the international break coming up. Why not have them replayed at a neutral site? Maybe somewhere in Europe where you don't have the risk of some type of corruption from CAF. You get a neutral ref, neutral site, do what you got to do. But I don't know, man. What's going on, bro? How you doing, man? It's it's just pretty crazy, man, to really think about that teams can get stripped of stuff when there was corruption going on in the match. And African football, sadly, has just been going through this for the longest time. But African football has also improved so much over the past 30 years. All the top teams generally have 1 or 2 solid African players in their squad, bro. And and they're generally pretty good players. They're world-class players. African football, and I like watching it, man, because there are some good players that come out of that continent, and some of the best players in history have come from that continent. So it's pretty interesting, man. I mean, they got, I mean, now they're taking it to CAS, the Court Arbitration of Sport. They're getting it appealed. I think Senegal will win that appeal because they won it fair and square. There's just saltiness because they lost it and they were the hosts of AFCON. At the end of the day, this is the kind of stuff that is going to continuously tarnish African football if they cannot get a hold of stuff like this. I mean, when you have a president of a federation come out and say that I have thrown games in the past, you cannot tell me that none of you African presidents of your federations, you cannot tell me you guys haven't done the same thing, because you have, and tell me I'm lying. Nobody came out and said anything. That's out there for people to see. Just search for it, right? Liam Rossini and Liam Delap are 2 people who came to completely destroy Chelsea. One can't control the ball, shoot, and the other can't coach a win. I hope at the end of the season they both leave the club together. I think Liam Delap's going to leave. Liam Rossini has 50-50. It depends on where they finish in the league. Oh yeah, see, look, Senegal coach Pape Thiaw has taken the AFCON trophy to a military base today. It is secure in a facility under armed guard. A clear message to CAF that they are not giving this up. Good luck, bro. Good luck to you guys trying to get that. You're gonna get freaking gunned down trying to get that trophy off of them, man. They absolutely deserve that trophy. Absolutely. Garnacho. What are you saying here? He says, "I can't read, boss." Probably because he probably because he can't read English. Don't don't fucking pass it, Garnacho. That's funny as fuck, bro. I like that. They're stupid for that. That's wild. Breaking. Skybet has officially announced and already processed payouts to all the customers who bet on Morocco to win the 2025 AFCON. This follows CAF's ruling that shipped Senegal the title and awarded Morocco the trophy via 3-0 forfeit. Their exact statement: the result of the 2025 AFCON has been officially reversed, with Morocco now being crowned winners of the tournament. We have now paid out on Morocco as winners in the outright market. They're also honoring the original bets on Senegal, creating a rare double payout situation for punters who backed either side. So what happens if they? So what happens if Cass reverses the ruling that they win the trophy? Are they going to reverse the winnings of that, or are they gonna? What are they gonna do? I think they're jumping the gun there a little bit. Confirmed Chelsea versus Man City to kick off at 4:30 p.m. on Sunday the 12th. Well, now I got Sunday, Monday's off, so that's good. As a result of both teams being knocked out of the Champions League, this fixture didn't need to be moved. Yeah, unbelievable. Football madness in Brazil. A goal scored in 19 seconds without even touching the ball. Wait, a goal scored in 19 seconds without even touching the ball. Oh, the other team just. Wait, what? How does that happen? Why is the goalkeeper so far up? Can they replay that? That's insane, bro. What? Look at this. Wait, why didn't you just play the pass out? My thing is, why is the goalkeeper all the way up there, though? That's madness, dude. Oh, he didn't even. The center half didn't. I mean, didn't even look up. That's insane, dude. Oh yeah, see, look, new images and video of Mudryk on Instagram training at the Uxbridge FC, renting their pitch as he awaits an update on doping ban. Mudryk is staying fit ahead of a verdict with lawyers on it, still under contract at Chelsea till 2031. Listen, bro. I mean, I'm gonna keep saying, if he has an option to come back and you find a way to get him back, put him out there on the left. He's better than what we have out there right now. I'm just saying, and he hasn't played in over a year. That should tell you everything you need to know about the Chelsea left wing position. That needs to be a priority in the transfer window. I don't care what anybody says. It absolutely does. Thomas Tuchel on why he left Trent out. I know what Trent can give us, and we decided to stick with our players. I know his strength. He's a huge player, but it's a sporting decision. We stick with Kwanzaa, Spence, and Livramento. Wow. Wow. Jed Spence. Really, bro. Livramento, I can see why. I think he's underrated in my opinion. But wow, no Trent. It's crazy, bro. And like, I don't even really rate Trent that highly, honestly, in terms of his defensive quality, because I do feel like he does take a day off when he wants to play on that side of the ball. But at the same time, to not have Trent in the squad is kind of crazy. What like if Reece James is ready to go, but then he for some reason gets hurt, who's your next option at right back? I would probably have to say Trent, right? Like that's what I would do. That's just me though. I mean, that's just how I would see it. That's kind of crazy, but was Fernando Torres a failure at Chelsea? I don't think. I don't know, man. It is a tough one because when we bought him from Liverpool, we were expecting to get the Liverpool version of Fernando Torres. Now he made up for it when he scored that goal in 2012 against Barca, but I think it depends on how you view his time at the bridge, honestly. If Enzo Fernandez leaves Chelsea, Leon Goretzka could be the perfect replacement. That's not see, that's already you already know that won't happen. This board is not going anywhere near players like him. Leon Goretzka would be an exceptional signing for this club, bro. That's the kind of presence you need in midfield. Like that is the exact type of physicality you need in midfield, bro. You put him next to, and like you don't sell Enzo. If you bring in Leon Goretzka, you're pairing them with Caicedo and Enzo, and you have Goretzka in that midfield. That's what I would do. But you know this won't happen because we're not going after players with any experience. It's just not happening. Of course, that'll go in, right? That's crazy, bro. I was saying a few days ago, man. Give me a reason why Harry Kane should not win the Ballon d'Or. And I'm gonna give you my reasoning on why I think he could possibly win it. He wins the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich go on to win the Champions League. He's gonna win the Golden Boot in Germany. That's already wrapped up. But he goes to the World Cup. Not only is he the Golden Boot winner, but England find a way to bring it home. Tell me why. Tell me why Harry Kane would not win the Ballon d'Or. That's just how I see it. Harry Kane will win the Ballon d'Or if he wins the World Cup this year and the Champions League. Because there's going to be no other player that could compare to the resume that he has for this season, his CV. No, you're not going to find anybody that is going to outdo what he did. Because he had a great season last season. This season, he's looking even better. He is ripping up defenses, whether it's in the Champions League or it's in the Bundesliga. He is doing it. Exactly. I like that. Yeah. Mudrik's last goal for Chelsea. Yeah, we all miss him, bro. Like we all miss him. Like honestly, this version of Mudrik will easily bench Pedro Neto and Garnacho. Absolutely, bro. That's what I said. He's better than what we have. He's absolutely better than what we have right now. And he hasn't played in over a year. Why do players like Neymar and Eden get so much disrespect from football fans these days? Every week I see people say how boring football has become. Players like Neymar, etc., make you fall in love with the sport. If they were in their prime now, they'd easily be the best in the world. If Neymar and if prime Neymar and prime Hazard were in this era of football, those two would be one and two of the best players in the world right now. But there is a lot more recklessness with the challenges, so maybe that would have played a part in how they play. But still, Eden Hazard and Neymar, outside of Ronaldo and Messi, are the two best dribblers I've ever seen. Two of the best dribblers I've ever seen. Ronaldinho's in that category too. Ronaldo's in that category, right? Like when you're in that category of dribbling and you're able to just have fun with the sport, play at your own pace, that's when the sport is fun to watch. And people just love to hate on any player that has some type of flair in their game. It's crazy. That's what you need. That's what this team needs, quite honestly. Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes want to leave Newcastle this summer. Listen, I'll take Bruno. I'll take Bruno. I'll take Bruno in this midfield. Him, Caicedo, and Enzo. That would be crazy. That would be nuts. Give me 1 second, guys. That'd be nuts. But yeah, I'd absolutely take Bruno G, bro. Absolutely. So many phonies. So who are the real deal? We're watching a team of phonies right now. Yeah, fuck off, fuck off. Yeah, exactly. And look, taking off in the 60th minute and they score like 3 goals later, or they score like 3 or 4 minutes later. Got fans leaving, getting out of here, saying "fuck this shit." And it's even worse with the PSG fans waving goodbye in our own stadium. It's crazy, man. Name a Ballon d'Or winner who never won the Champions League. Ooh, I'd probably say Michael Owen. Oh, man. No way, bro, said Onana. I want to say, didn't he? Oh, wow, it was Pablo Neves. Wow. Okay. The importance of Levi Colwell. Enzo Meshkra needed a center back. West played 45 minutes in that position. It was the first half against Bournemouth away. Probably one of the worst halves since we started. Yeah, that game was 0-0, bro. One of the most boring 0-0 draws I've ever seen. Benoit playing in the middle, the Conference League final, first half, we're losing 1-0. We changed him and with Levi and 1-4-1. It's not the same. The one in the middle, in my way, is so, so, so important. And the fact that if you remember the game against Newcastle, how wide open were we? And where Reece James had to make that 40-yard dash back, bro. Like that's how I think he actually got hurt was on that dash back and he played through it because we needed to win that game. And yeah, worst manager and goalkeeper in our club's history. Absolute dog shit. I don't think he's the worst goalkeeper in our club's history. I think that's Jorgensen, bro. Robert Sanchez has had a good season. He's regressed under Liam Rosinha, but he's been generally good this season. Liam Delap on Flip Jorgensen. Nah, he's a legend. I'm gonna skip that, bro. I'm not even gonna sit there and read that. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Chelsea fans, enough is enough. Blueco and Clear Lake have eroded what our club stands for. Protests. Make noise, boycotts hit their pockets, stick together, empty seats at the bridge, no more merch purchases, no tickets, no revenue. Until real change happens, Blueco out. And yet, anybody watching, continue to push the message. Blueco out, Clear Lake out. Get the fuck out of the club, bro. Over here ruining this great club because you think it's a private equity account. You're fucking crazy, bro. This Reece James clip never gets old. God, we all miss Reece James already, bro. Yeah, bro, dude, you guys remember this when Mo Salah had to take the penalty? I think this was against Senegal as well. Like, look at those lasers, bro. And he missed it because of the lasers, man. I mean, good God. I mean, where is that effort on defense? That's what I'm saying. We miss Antonio Rudiger too. Chelsea Champions League lifeline. Sixth place could be enough. Chelsea may not need to finish top five to reach Champions League next season. Finishing sixth could surprisingly do the job. Here's the twist: if Aston Villa, led by Unai Emery, win the Europa League and finish inside of the Premier League's top five, an extra Champions League spot would open up. That scenario would push qualification down to sixth place, handing Chelsea a golden and unexpected opportunity to sneak into Europe's. It's almost like I want to be evil here and say Aston Villa are not going to win the Europa League. I don't think they are. And Chelsea are not going to make the Champions League, bro. They're not getting into the Champions League next season. And if they do, I'll hold my hands up and I'll admit that I was wrong. But they're not getting in there. As of right now, they're not getting into next season's Champions League and they don't deserve it. That's Raheem Sterling. Eden Hazard, they can never make me hate you. The greatest left winger in the history of the Premier League, bro. I'm trying to tell you this right now. People want to say it's Ronaldo. I mean, I can agree with that argument, but Eden Hazard was just different, bro. Look at this. You don't have anybody in the team that can really do this. Esteval can do it, he's not built physically like Hazard at all. Look at that. See ya. So good, dude. That's what I'm saying. The greatest left winger in the history of the Premier League. Esteval looking like he's all but, in my opinion, all but certain to start tomorrow, man. So it looks like this was like a legit thing. He was on a zone and he did say all that. To describe Esteban in one word, talented. Is Caicedo the best six in the world? See, you keep the Chelsea spirit alive even during tough games. He puts the flexing emoji. How are you, Enzo? All right, calm down. Finishing my recovery session. Favorite singer? I like them a lot, but I'm listening to Central C. Nice. I fuck with that. Would you go back to River Plate? You never know, but today my present is at Chelsea. I'm very comfortable. I don't know, man. I mean, we got to show more to keep players like this at the club, bro. We'll never forget when Mudryk came on late versus Newcastle and saved lives. This was in the cup, I believe. And then we also remember the goal he scored in the league against him that same season, man. An exceptional goal. It's a good finish too. Yeah. It's it's clinical and decisive. But he also did have problems with that as well, being clinical in the right moments. Right there, he was good, right? But you're looking for if he's able to come back, it has he improved in that area in terms of being clinical in front of goal and actually being able to take players on and knowing when to take players on, knowing when to use his speed, right? But we'll see what happens. Yep, not good enough, bro. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here, guys. I got to get ready for work. I got to put my dogs away. I got to do all that fun stuff. So I appreciate everyone watching. I appreciate all the love and support. I said in my preview for this, Chelsea, I don't think are going to win this game. I think they lose 2-0. But my heart wants them to win 3-1. My head is telling me 2-0. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's just my prediction. It's not the actual result of the game. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, like, comment, share, do what you guys have been doing. I appreciate all the love lately. It means a lot. And yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go get my day started. Work is in like an hour and like hour and a half. So yeah, I'm out. Peace.